Hi, welcome to Understanding Conscious Cryptids with me, Kat Hansen, your host.
Hi everyone, it's me, Kat, and I'm going to talk today about the investigation that I did into the Dogman. I know everyone's been kind of psyched and waiting to hear about it, so I think I'm just going to kind of jump right into it. Remember, I told everyone that there's different types of dogmen, okay? We have the Noshovachito, which is the big werewolfy guys. Then we have the little Ophi, which are usually right around 4 foot to 5 foot tall. They look like the German shepherds and such. And then we have, the big guys, the Shampoy looking things that are kind of in between Bigfoot and Dogman. Well, this one that I was investigating, I want to explain a little bit about. This one was not a spirit, a water spirit, okay? This one was really solid. So I ended up having to do some research with this guy. This guy was one of the Anubis types. Now, I don't really know very much about them, so this was like maybe the third time. Yeah, I think it's three. I think this is the third time I've had to deal with them. And these guys have been around for a long, long time. Okay, they were here on the earth about 12,000 years ago. Okay, but pretty much they've kind of depleted their stock, their line here. So there's not too many of them left, and especially to find them here was kind of surprising for me. But now this is where it gets interesting. In dealing with this one, I found out that he had mated with one of the Ophi. So I was really surprised about that. I didn't know they could do that, but apparently they can. So, live and learn on that one. So, tracking this thing down and trying to figure out what he was really interesting for me because it involved a lot of time-consuming tracking and finding out, finding out that he could speak. Yeah, that one kind of really blew me away. Okay, the only ones I've ever known to speak are the ones that come from out past the planet Sirius. Okay, they're way out there and they only come here every now and then. They're the weird ones that people have talked about occasionally. Well, I can't say everybody's talked about them, but the people that I deal with have spoken about them. Usually wearing like human clothes. Yeah, I know, that's really strange and unheard of, but it's true. People have told me that they see them in one of two ways. Either they're wearing like a ripped up jean denim type pair of pants, or they're wearing a flannel shirt that's kind of worn out. And this really threw me. When the first time I ever heard of this was about 20 years ago. And it really surprised me because I've always just known about the Dogman being, an animal or a spirit totem or something else. So this kind of surprised me because these guys look like your werewolf types, but apparently these guys are pretty intelligent and take orders. Now, the ones that they take orders from apparently are reptilians. So, here in conjunction, again, we have another race that's working with another race. So, I was almost thinking that this guy was going to be one of those. But he wasn't. What I found with this was he had mated with the Ophi, and apparently he has mated with the Ophi several times. So there are several of these guys out there. And it was really surprising to me. The Ophi have their own language, and they will talk to you, but you kind of don't really understand. They can get their point across, like talking to a primitive tribe. This Anubis guy, on the other hand, was very interesting to me because he could articulate and was letting me know that he wanted to make contact with this older woman, and I didn't understand why at first, because it seemed real vague. I couldn't get an answer from her as to why he would be coming to her house and looking through her windows and trying to come in. So when things like that start going screwy on me, then I start really looking at stuff, and I don't normally like to do that because I feel like it's an invasion of privacy. But this time I did, and I was really glad that I did. I don't like being lied to, and that really ticks me off. So when I confronted her with his story, they weren't matching up. So I do what I always do when I think someone's lying to me. I reached out and snatched her by the hand and saw real clear and quick that she wasn't who she was pretending to be. So I'm dealing with now a skinwalker, which everyone knows I hate dealing with, and I'm dealing with this new Dogman being. I shouldn't say thing, shame on me. Being, okay? And he was very polite, but in a really snotty kind of way. Like he was talking to someone who was very, very low to him. Obviously no respect for humans. He was very disdainful. There's the word, disdainful. So, tracking this guy, like I said, wasn't hard, but it was different in that he was showing some serious intelligence. Okay, he's not leaving tracks like I think he's going to be leaving tracks, and it was just really different how it all fell apart. And that's exactly what it did. It fell apart because when I finally figured out who and what he was, to find out that he was mating with the Ophi, that threw me for a loop. So he's given them, apparently, the Ophi that he has bred with and produced pups with now have the ability to speak with humans. So I'm looking forward, I guess, to meeting them, because I know eventually I'm going to end up meeting them because I'm out there and about. But when it fell apart, it was really because of the skinwalker. She had changed, I guess, a couple different times, and what had started this whole scenario was that she was in wolf form, and he saw her as a potential for breeding because she's larger than the Ophi when she assumes that form. So he had followed her back to her home and was doing his own kind of recon on her. Yeah, it was very disturbing, to say the least. So once I figured out what she was, I went ahead and discontinued my services to her. Basically told her, good luck with what you're doing, because I'm not going to stop him in any way, shape, or form. That's none of my business. I don't want to be involved in a love triangle, so you guys have fun figuring it out. So she wasn't too happy with that because, well, think about it. She's got this big male. He kind of looks like a Great Dane chasing after her, but he's heavier. He's heavier than a Great Dane, obviously. He's fleshed out quite a bit more. And I'm not going to stop him. I have no desire to be involved in that at all. So I let that go. So that's what happened with that trip. So anybody who's got questions, please feel free to send me questions, because I will answer them to the very best of my ability on this one. This one was very different for me. Like I said, I had not expected to find this guy at all. Very intelligent. Does not shift, though, either, by the way. He stays in his form. That's his corporeal form. He's not changing in any way. The only one who's going to do any changing or shifting will be that skinwalker. And she can do whatever she wants to do. It's none of my business. Now, I think I want to get back on track here because this one was just so bizarre to me, you guys. I'm not used to dealing with this. And I really don't like dealing with things that are out of my bizarre level, okay? I deal with everyday bizarre. So this was kind of like a whole new level for me. And it made me very uncomfortable. So needless to say, I want to talk about the guys that I was talking about there, the big guys who wear the shirts and the pants. These guys are really strange. And I know in running into them that they're intelligent. They don't really speak human speak too much, but because I don't think they have the ability or the vocal cords to form the language that we have. So what I have experienced with these guys is the fact that they do write. So they can write pretty rudimentary things in English, which really lets me know that wherever they're from, they've studied, you know. They're very intelligent that way. So I'm not sure. I just have this feeling, you know, with all the portals opening more and more, that we're going to be seeing and hearing more about these guys. And I honestly don't even have a name for them because I've never really sat down and had an in-depth conversation with them. It's always just been in passing. When I see one, I see one. And I've only ever had one actually seek me out. And that was coming through a portal that I knew was opening. And he stepped through and stood there. And it was like a face-to-face, uncomfortable meeting. And I asked him at the time, I said, what do you want? Because I always ask that, what do you want? Do you want something from me? Or are you here for another person? Or are you here for another reason? Do I not need to even be involved in this? And he let me know that he had come through to see me, and literally see me. He wanted to know what I looked like. He stood there for about 5 minutes, smelled the air around me, and then stepped back into the portal and was gone. So that's the limit, the extent of my interaction with these guys. I've never really sat down and discussed things with them. I don't even know which system they come from. I know they have to come from a different dimension, but I've traveled all over dimension-wise and not seen these guys, so I'm not sure about them. That being said, if anyone out there who is listening has had a run-in with a Dogman that looks like a werewolfy guy wearing the pants or the shirt. They really remind me when I see them, by the way, that they look like the old David Banner Hulk. You remember how he would Hulk up and then the shirt would shred and the pants would shred? That's what these guys look like, only it's flannel. That's another thing that's weird about it. It's always flannel. So I guess in their dimension, that's what they wear for clothing. I do know, like I said, that the reptilians use these guys because apparently they are very vicious. They use them to be guardians for whatever it is they're doing. And I have seen them one time, and I'm still not even sure if it really was in conjunction with the yellow aliens, but I saw them in that general vicinity. So I have always just assumed, which I know I'm not supposed to do, but I just assumed that they were like the reptilians and were working for them as well. So that is about it for my adventure with the skinwalker. I'm telling you, every time I extend my hand, for some reason I seem to find these guys and gals, and they irritate me, and I'm making a point here. Please, if you are a skinwalker, do not contact me. I am so tired of dealing with your messes. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't work with evil beings. I only work with good beings, right beings, honest beings. I don't want to have to deal with you guys because you suck too much of my energy away from me, and it really drains me. It seriously does. And it makes it hard for me to keep fighting the good fight when I have to deal with that kind of darkness. So please, do myself a favor. Leave me alone. Don't contact me. Don't seek me out for any type of help. Okay? And if you do that, I think you and I will get along famously. Okay, there. I put it out there, so now that's what's going to happen. No more contact with skinwalkers, please. Now let's see. What else can we talk about? We can also talk about the cat people, because I had someone mention to me that they wanted to know more about the cat people. And the cat people that I am talking about, many of you have seen the picture of him and know that he stayed with me for about 6 months. These guys have their own language, which I do not speak. So when he stayed, he was just around the home, around the house, the yard. He loved being outside. He just, simple things. You can tell by intent what a person wants. If you're opening a refrigerator and someone's standing there looking intently at something, to pick that up and offer it to them. And that's pretty much how it was with him. These guys, like I said, come from different dimension. They're very kind, very sweet, but also very aggressive, I found out when hunting, because he could take down deer, and he had no problem taking down a couple of the sheep around here. Very strong, very muscular, but also very friendly, something that I was not afraid to leave my children around at all. They were very comfortable with him. And at night, he would sit in the living room on one of the chairs. He didn't sit like a human, though. He sat like a dog, almost. You know how a dog sits on its haunches? That's how he sat, even though he had hands in the front. So, very easygoing type of being. Very happy to be here, very inquisitive, like I said, always wanted to know, what was around the next corner. Exploring, learning is basically what I got was his intention for being here. And that's what the cat people do. They come here and experience this realm, this reality that we're in. They experience it. And when it came time for him to leave, he just signaled that he was heading up to the mountain onto the portal, and I went with him, and it was the right time of the year for that portal to open, and he did, and he left. So I want people to understand that you cannot force a portal to open, okay? At least I can't. CERN probably could, but I can't. Portals open naturally because they were made to do so, to be in sync with the planet. So each one opens at a specific time that it's supposed to open. And that's how every being seems to know when to use the portal and when to come through, because they're able to time it to the vibrational frequency of the earth. So I guess that means that they have some knowledge that we do not have. Because I myself cannot open a portal, like I said. I have stepped into them and been made very sick and dizzy, to to the point where I wanted to pass out. The pictures that I've taken inside the portals are crazy insane, because I think it's the magnetics in them. I think there is some type of magnetic frequency that goes through them because it causes the pictures to be really freaky looking. And I don't like going into the portals. I don't mind showing others where they are at, and I don't mind helping them get in and out of them, or if they come here and get stuck or whatever, I don't mind helping them at all, but I do not want to be inside the portal. I just have a feeling that it wasn't made specifically for this time frame for humanity. I think that eventually we will get to the point where once we ascend a little higher, and evolve a little bit higher, we will be able to use them. Until then, we are unable to. I should say on purpose, because there have been accounts of people who have stepped into them unknowingly and then been wished away to another time and another place. That's recorded quite a bit. It's recorded quite frequently. So, that's about it. I think this one will cover it. If I haven't made myself clear on this, please let me know, and I will clarify whatever anybody thinks I need to clarify. So, until then, I say thank you for listening to my channel and my voice, and putting up with me and my eccentricities. And I wish everyone a good night and a good weekend ahead. And thank you for sticking it through with me. Talk to you next time.